All right, have 6 o'clock. Call this meeting of Budget and Finance Committee to order. Everyone should have a copy of the July minutes. Please look over those, and if there are no corrections or additions, I'll entertain a motion to approve. Motion by Mr. Ford, second by Bubba Gregory. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? All righty. Next, we'll have the trustee cash balances on page 3 of your packets. And yeah, Bubba, you're right, but that print is a lot smaller than it usually is. These are no, these are as of July 31st, but I believe that there still are some payables and receivables still out. And of course, a reminder to anyone who may be watching this video live or afterward that all these packets are available on the county website, TrisdaleCountyTN.gov. All right, have a motion by Mr. Ford to approve the trustee balances, second by Jeff Gregory. Any discussion on those? All in favor say aye. Opposed? Okay. All righty. Of course, page 4, the year-to-year comparisons, but we're 1 month into the year, so there's really not much to compare there. Revenue's a little bit up from the previous year, expenses up a little bit as well. Let's see, that's out. Page 5 of y'all's packet says 101 general fund budget. Of course, at 1.3% of revenues. Of course, we're 1 month into the year, and of course, we don't start seeing revenue come in big time until October and November with property tax. So nothing out of the ordinary there. Expenditures in 101 start on page 7 and page 8. Let's say that 11% of budgeted items. I think the election commission is a little high, but of course we just had an election, so that's probably understandable there. At 16% of expenditures, county mayor's office had 11.2, which is a little higher than normal. So I'll ask Amy to send out an explanation on that one. Does anyone have any questions in the 101? I have no idea what the lights are. We were just going through the 101 numbers, pages, expenditures, page 7 and 8 of your budget packets. I said I had noted the election commission was a little high, but of course we just had an election, so that's probably to be expected. And then I was going to ask Amy about the 51,300 county mayor executive, which is at 11.2% through 1 month. Amy had emailed earlier. She wasn't feeling well, so she was not going to be here this evening. Does anyone have any other questions in the 101? Did anyone have any questions in the 101? Seeing none. 111, page 9 of your packets. Where's total revenues? 0.2%. Total expenditures, 0.6%. Of course, 1 month into the fiscal year, so we're not going to have a lot of expenditures in really probably any of these. 116, solid waste on page 10. Revenues at 0.8% and expenditures at 0.7%. $118, ambulance service on page 11. Total revenues 0.1, total expenditures at 1.2%. Looks like we do not have the typical sheriff or ambulance service breakdowns that we normally would, but of course, we're 1 month in, so not going to be many expenditures in any of those. Page 12, or so 121, the core civic pass-through fund. Page 13, 122, county drug fund. Again, very little action in either one of those. Pages 14 and 15, the ARPA. Of course, those funds will at some point be transferred over to the capital projects fund. Yes. Yeah, that just hasn't taken place yet. Page 16, 151 debt service. And just a little bit of revenue there. And expenditures at 13.8%. There's looks like most of that is monthly QSCB. And a July payment with regard to the elementary school is the main ones there. Page 17, Capital Projects Fund. You'll see a little bit of revenue that has come in during July in that one. Revenue of $49,292 in that one, and expenditures so far of $16,025. Most of that being trustee commission and a little bit of work on the proposed fire hall addition. And of course, we have the 3 CDs still outstanding. Of course, the one that rolled over, or excuse me, will actually mature later this week, and we voted last month to roll that over to a longer term one. The next one will mature in February of 27, and then another that matures in February of 28. And then last in the budget statements, 141 general purpose schools on page 18. Of course, all we are responsible for is the revenues, again, 0.3% through July, and their expenditures only at 3.7%. There's not much going on in the school system during July for the most part. Anyone have any questions in the budget statements? And of course, each of these note at the top that these are not final numbers. There are still some payables and receivables still pending from the previous year, so those numbers are not finalized. If there are no questions, I'd entertain a motion to approve the financial statements. Okay, motion by Bubba, second by Mr. Ford. All in favor say aye. Opposed? All right, those are approved. Now we'll go into budget amendments. Just have a few this month. The first one, 11801G. This is a grant received in the amount of $30,303. Chief Beatty is receiving quotes for a striker-powered stair chair. Again, this will just be receiving a grant to fund this. Absolutely. The next one, page 20, 11802F, EMS education. This is a proposed fund balance draw of $10,000. Where this came from, Matt reached out to me, I guess, a few days after our last commission meeting, and of course, y'all remember we had the program that we had funded through with some ARPA funds to send some of his staff if they wanted to do EMT or paramedic training, that we would fund it, and they committed to work for the county for a bit. Of course, that funding has funding for that program has been used up. Matt had requested a draw of $10,000, and I said he has an employee who's wanting to go to paramedic school, and I asked Mr. Beatty to be here to speak to this tonight if anyone had any questions on this one. I know we had originally funded this through ARPA, and well, so this would be a fund balance draw from the ambulance service if we opted to go this one. Does anyone have any questions for Chief Beatty on this one?
Where they do the training? Is it here or they go?
Paramedic school will be at Ball State. They don't do it at a satellite site.
And you just got one is interested in it now or?
Yes, just one right now.
Has this employee been working for us for a short time or a long time?
Just under 5 years.
So the employee is meeting the requirements that's by the policy.
Correct. Yeah, she's been here for, I mean, she's had opportunity to go anywhere she wanted to go. She's chosen to stay here. So she's one of my best advanced EMTs that I have.
Mr. Ford?
Is she a local person?
I believe she lives in Sumner County.
How long she been with you?
Just under 5 years.
So if we do this for this one, then you got some more won't come. You gonna want to do this later on? You're gonna come back with some more fund balance draws to do that? I mean, what is this enough to cover just one, or was it being a future deal too?
Yeah, this is, since the monies previously had expired, I felt like we would do this on a case by case basis from here on out, just to test the waters again.
And I'll speak to this a little bit as well. First response was scheduled to meet earlier this month and kind of look at the policy that we had in place and see how, if we wanted to continue it, and if so, how. But first response didn't have a quorum, so wasn't able to do anything. So it's down as a discussion point on tonight's agenda for this one, but that was with the anticipation that something would have been coming from first response. So we can discuss it later if we want to, or if y'all don't want to discuss it, and that can be a matter for the next commission.
We'll
Mr.
make
Ford.
a motion that we do it.
I have a question.
Ms. Overman.
It says in the policy, funding limits is $4,000 per employee. Will that cover one employee's?
Not for paramedic school. For any other class, yes, but paramedic school's probably 3 times longer.
So the maximum is $4,000, she will continue her own education that way?
I will have to ask her and see if 4,000 may be enough for her to cover the rest of it.
Okay.
Matt, I'm going to ask a question there. And I do not have it in front of me, but there had been a list, I guess, of the employees that had received funding through that previous program. And I think there were 2 that had $9,000. Is that correct?
I know Connor Brown was the last that went through paramedic school. I believe his was just under 9,000 total. I'm not sure exactly what the county's contribution towards that was. All that contract stuff goes through the mayor's office.
I'm sorry. By reading of the funding limits, it says the maximum lifetime reimbursement available to any employee under the program is 4,000. So he would have probably had to cover the existing by the way this policy is worded.
Correct. I haven't spoken to him about it.
Oh, did the previous program, was the previous program reimbursable, or did the county just pay it out?
I believe the county just paid, because like the advanced and EMT basic classes are through workforce development through Ball State, not directly through Ball State. So there's pricing is based on number of students in the class. So it's the more students are in a class, the less the class cost. And paramedic school is not set up that way. It's not through the workforce development.
Mr. Ford.
Matt, do you think she'll stay with you if she qualifies for this position?
100%. Yeah. Yeah. She's been here for almost 5 years and she hasn't ever mentioned going anywhere else.
Part of this policy says she has to be here for 2 years.
2 years.
I'm sorry.
The policy just says that she has to be here for 2 years following completion of the
Correct.
certification.
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
is the employee willing to abide by that term as far as you know?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Ford,
I made a motion to approve it.
all right, all right, I have a motion by Mr. Ford to recommend this particular amendment to send it forward with a favorable recommendation. Do I have a second? Do I have a second?
I'm a little confused between this 4,000 and 2,000.
On the last page of your packet is the policy that states that the maximum is $4,000 under this program.
This draft thing this is not the current,
That was it.
this was
That
a,
was why I turned this on, because this says draft.
Yeah.
So I didn't know if this is what we're approving with this amendment also, or.
No,
because I don't think
no.
we should make the amendment until there's a policy in place.
this, on the very last page of your budget packets, you'll see a draft policy. This is what First Response was going to discuss at its meeting as a potential draft policy, and anything that needed to be changed in it, or, could be recommended then to this committee for that. But like I said, since First Response didn't meet or didn't have a quorum, they couldn't do anything. So no, there will be no action on this draft policy tonight, regardless.
Okay, so I would just like to say, again, I don't think we should fund something without a policy for that.
So, Mr. Beatty, when we look at our back page, it says an approval process, and it says prior to enrolling in the certification program, they must receive written approval from the director and the budget director. So has this employee even went to these steps, or?
Yes, we spoke and I've been in contact with the mayor's office, both.
Okay. I think the policy or the draft policy is pretty thorough, but
It's just a draft.
it's just a draft. Exactly.
I just want to say too that I don't have a problem with creating this program, but I just think there's a process, and I think we're getting the process mixed up.
Okay.
Jumping ahead, the policy is.
Right. Understood.
All I've had to go by previously was the resolution that was passed. That's all.
When does this class start? I mean, when does she need to get in it, or?
It's about to start right now this fall. So I mean, if we
So
can't,
we got time to have another committee meeting with them to get this draft straightened out and still have time to get her into class?
in another month, I'll have to check with Ball State and see.
Well, yeah, well, of course, bear in mind with committees, of course, we have a new commission coming in September, and we'll reform committees probably October would be my guess. But again, that's a guess. All right, I had a motion from Mr. Ford to recommend this one for approval. Do I have a second? Final call for a second. Motion dies for lack of a second.
I do not have a problem with this. I would just like to have a set in stone policy
Sure. No,
prior to agreeing to something. That way we know exactly what the eligibility requirements are, what they have to do, in the process.
sure. I
Not at
understand.
all. I mean, I'm all for somebody furthering their education.
I'll give it Ball State and see if I can buy enough time to, if not, let's just do it next year. It starts up again.
You know,
I don't know how, I don't either. I think it starts in the fall. I'm not sure if it just starts in the fall or if it's spring. I'm not sure.
like I said, the hope had been that First Response could review this policy and send it forward to us. But like I said, since they didn't have a quorum, that just kind of fouled up the works on that one. So, all right. So, now, of course, this body is only recommending these budget amendments. We, of course, they go to the commission regardless. So when we can send it unfavorable, we can send it with no recommendation. I suppose we could vote to ask that it be pulled from the agenda.
Think that I necessarily want it to be pulled from the agenda. I think there needs to be more discussion in regards to it. And I'm still gonna go back to, I think there needs to be a hard policy, not a draft.
Understood.
I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it being on the agenda next Monday night if Mr. Beatty brings in a policy that he and Amy and the mayor have agreed upon and present that with the amendment
Exactly.
for the whole commission to review. Would be fine with me.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good with that. It's fine.
Okay, I will get with Amy and ask about, all right, so then I guess we can have the discussion later on the draft policy and. All righty, moving on. Third budget amendment, on page 21, 11803G. EMS motor vehicles, this is a grant received from the federal government, $305,461 for the purchase of an ambulance. And this is a brand new ambulance, is that correct, Matt?
I think we need to approve that.
Yes, I believe only allows for new purchase.
And so brand new ambulance, federal
I
money.
just want to make sure it's non-matching. This is free money that we're going to buy an ambulance with.
That is my understanding. Is
Yes,
that-
that's how I understand it also.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. All righty, next one on budget amendment, page 22, 14101. The state special education preschool grant in the amount of $1362.90. In page 23, 14102. Carryover funds in the school budget in the amount of $24,562.05. Any questions on any of the budget amendments? Ms. Atwood? Oh, no problem. All good. Mr. Ford, did you have your lights on?
Oh,
Nothing. It's all right. All right, what's the will of the committee with regard to the budget amendments?
I will make a motion to send them all with a favorable recommendation, except for the one for the EMS education.
All right, I have a motion to send all as favorable with the exception of the EMS education one. And all right, I have a second on that by Bubba. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? All right, those are sent favorable. And I guess since we want to discuss the draft policy and see about sending that forward, I said it's taken the last 2 pages of the draft policy. I said, please review these and if there are any questions on any of these. I said that the original, Amy put together the original draft and sent to both Amber, Russell, and to myself. Amber and I both reviewed it and had some suggested changes. That this is the updated version with the changes that Amber and I recommended.
The second bullet point under funding limit says reimbursement is subject to availability of ARPA funds. This isn't going to be ARPA funds, right?
That actually is something that is supposed to be changed just to the availability of funding period because ARPA is technically going away. So yes, yeah, that was supposed to have been changed and was not. So
And if paramedic school costs more than $4,000, that doesn't seem like this is gonna benefit anybody if they're trying to become a paramedic. I think the $4,000 might need to change.
We, we can certainly. Yeah, the original one was 10,000. I guess Matt's already gone. I will get with Chief Beatty and ask about, I guess, the cost of EMT school versus paramedic school and maybe try to adjust those limits based on that. Actually, no, he is, Mr. Beatty. That's okay. And, discussion on the draft funding, education funding policy. Ms. Overman made the point that with the paramedic being more than 4,000, maybe that needed to be adjusted. What does EMT school cost versus what paramedic school costs?
Well, that's where it's hard to give you a hard number because it's through the workforce development and the number of students dictates the cost of the class. So I want to say it's around $1,000 or less typically for EMT in advance because it's one semester and they do it at a satellite. It's not on campus and just based on the number of students enrolled in a class. So like I said before, the more people that enroll in a class, the cheaper the class becomes. So it's hard to give you a real hard number because it's based on how many people are in the class.
Okay, but okay. Hypothetically speaking, if we had, say, the maximum lifetime is 4,000 for an EMT position and whatever a different amount for a paramedic, would something like that suffice, you think, or because what would your recommendation be in that regard?
It looks like paramedic school was $8,925. So that's what the last number I've got for paramedic school. Because it's 3 semesters long, so it's just longer and it's on campus and it's a lot more intensive than it's an all-day class, not just 4 hours.
Okay. Now, would you mind repeating that for Ms. Overman?
I'm sorry. You want the? 1 second, let me get back to it.
89 something.
$8,925, I think was what the last number I got was for the full class. And I'm assuming that includes books and uniforms. So I don't.
All right, so do we want to look at changing that reimbursement number or clarifying that it's one amount for a EMT position and another amount for a paramedic, or what's the will of the body? Or what are y'all thinking?
That would be revised somewhere, and then pointed out this amount is.
Sure, Mike, use mic, please. Sorry.
I'm sorry, I think that would need to be revised and like an EMT gets X amount of dollars. If you're going for an AMT, then that would be X amount of dollars, and just kind of. I'm not saying that it has to be the full amount, but somewhere in the ballpark to at least help them to get them to stay.
Yeah, because I think the EMT and advanced are fairly similar price. I don't think there's a big difference in the cost. Yeah, I'm fairly certain. I'm fairly certain because like I said, you don't get college credit or anything for it because it's through workforce development through Ball State. So it's not as expensive where they do get credit hours going through paramedic school. And that's the cost difference is they're paying for credit hours.
Okay, is there a particular number that?
No.
Okay. Okay.
I think that would need to, if you could somewhere between now and maybe next week, get with Amy on this draft and kind of work out those kinks and get us something in writing that we can see, okay, $4,000 is the max on this, or $8,000 is the maximum on whatever the divisions are.
Absolutely. I completely agree.
Just that way, everybody has more clarity that they know, hey, this is the maximum that I could possibly get. And then, I'm out of pocket, which is still saving to them, but they get to continue their education and we get to keep them in the county.
Yep, I'm in agreement with that. That's not a problem.
All right, sorry, Ms. Overman.
I would just say we need to table this discussion until he and Amy and the mayor or whoever work together and come up with not a draft policy for next Monday.
Okay. All righty,
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Dennis, I'm sorry, yes.
yeah, just the only thing that I would add is there's a pretty big difference between $4,000 and $9,000 as far as the minimum time of employment after completion. I would look into the proration of those funds back. I mean, if the county's going to spend, call it $10,000 further in the education, you might say that if that person leaves within a year, they owe that money back to the county. If they leave in 2 years, 66%. If they stay 3 or more, then they don't owe the county back anything. But I would put some percentages in there as far as their expected continuing tenure with the county as far as employment goes, especially if the county is going to pay the bill.
Okay,
I agree with a prorated refund if you leave before your contractual agreement.
all righty, I've got that noted to discuss with Amy as well, so, all righty, any other changes that anyone wants to, or anything in here that anyone wants to look at? I was gonna ask, Ms. Overman made the point about where it states ARPA funding earlier, a funding source for this, do we want that to be ambulance service? Do we want that to be 101? Case by case basis? What are the committee's thoughts on funding mechanism or?
I definitely think it should come out of 118.
Okay.
That's what I'd propose. That's fine.
Okay. All righty, if no one else has any questions on that, then we'll table this discussion until we get some more information and hopefully have something for next week. Thank you to everybody for being willing to discuss this evening and appreciate good conversation. B, review of committee. I'm not really sure what that was. The only other thing, and I will just say, we'll note that, of course, we have 4 members of this committee who will rotate off after this month. Mr. Dennis, Mr. Ford, Mr. Gully, and Ms. Overman. I want to say that it has been a pleasure and an honor to serve with each of you, and your service is very much appreciated. And Leslie, we will miss having someone to make motions. That being
Well,
said,
ask Mr. Beatty, are you pretty fully staffed out there now? How are you looking on your staff?
Yeah, we're full staff. We've been fully staffed for quite a while now. It's not the best configuration, like having her get through paramedic school would put us back to having 2 paramedics on every shift. So right now we've got 1 shift that only has 1 paramedic on it. So it's we've built it back pretty good.
So this grant for this ambulance, when are we looking, or when's the money go in? When are you looking about?
That's
placing or getting-
mayor's office has the contract right now. They've signed it and sent it back. I haven't heard word back from them yet.
all right, is there anything else from any of the committee members? Seeing none, we'll go to public comment. If anyone in the public wants to address the committee on anything, come to the mic and speak up. Seeing none, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Ms. Overman with the motion and Bubba with the second. We are adjourned. Thank y'all.